I would like to first thank everyone for being here today. We are gathered to both honor and celebrate the life of Leslie Ann Whittet At this time, if I can please have everyone take a moment, please check your cell phones, please turn them on vibrate or silent out of respect for the service. At this time, I would like to invite up our officiant, Carol Rose. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome everyone. I am Carol Rose. I'm a practitioner of the Everyday Center for Spiritual Living in Santa Fe, and I'm honored to be here at the request of Tracy and Jim to celebrate Leslie's life. Let us close our eyes if you choose to and settle in for just a moment, and we'll have a short blessing. On this beautiful day, let us take a deep breath, and if you choose to, as I said, close your eyes. We call on the divine source of all life, the love that created all of us, and we bless that life. We bless the life in each and every one of us as we celebrate Leslie's life. We are here today to do that, to share, to laugh, to remember, to celebrate. And it is a beautiful thing that we get to do that together. And so, with deep gratitude for all of this, I say, and so it is. So may this gathering be filled with comfort and peace and remembrance. May love surround us as we celebrate her life. And may her spirit be felt in every shared story, in every tear, and in every smile. We gather today in love, remembrance, sadness, and gratitude to celebrate Leslie Ann Whittet. Though her passing was sudden and unexpected, her life was rich with meaning, connection, and love, which is why you are all here, because in some way, each and every one of you was connected to her, is still connected to her. Whatever you believe about that, I'm sure her spirit is still surrounding everyone. So we honor her journey, her spirit, and the many ways she touched our lives. We're going to have some music by Sarah Price, and please welcome Sarah.
There are places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, and some remain. All these places have their moments. With lovers and friends, I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life, I've loved them all. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you, and these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. So I have a bunch of different readings I could read this morning, but I have the one that Tracy and I talked about the other day, and we're going to go with that for now. It's called Remember Me by Margaret Mead. To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore, gazing at a beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts, and your memories. Of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone. So as probably a lot of you in this room know, Leslie loved animals, loved dogs. She had a beautiful dog named Mel, who gratefully is recovering from being also damaged in the crash. And so we'd like to honor Leslie's love of dogs and share a dog's life philosophy, because dogs have it right, we think. My dog is actually out in the car. I don't leave her at home. Live in the moment. Dogs don't dwell on the past or future. They find joy in the now, whether it's a car ride, a sniff, or a belly rub. Unconditional love and loyalty. They offer acceptance and devotion without judgment, a powerful lesson in relationships. Embrace simple pleasures. Happiness comes from walks, naps, fresh air, food, and playtime, things easily overlooked by humans. And I'm going to add treats, because my dog is a lab, and she doesn't only work for treats, she lives for treats. Authenticity. Be true to yourself. Don't pretend to be something you're not. Resilience. Dogs bounce back from disappointment quickly, focusing on the positive. Presence and connection. They teach us the value of being present and offering silent, comforting support. Well, I think I already talked about the dogs, so let's have some more music by Sarah Price.
Just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Oh, the plans they made put an end to you. I walked out this morning and I wrote down this song. I just can't remember who to send it to. I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I'd see you again. Won't you look down upon me, Jesus? You gotta help me make a stand. You just gotta see me through another day. My body's aching and my time is at hand, and I won't make it any other way. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I'd see you again. I've been walking my mind to an easy time, my back turned towards the sun. But Lord knows when the cold wind blows, it'll turn your head around. Well, there's hours of time on the telephone line to talk about things to come. Sweet dreams and flying machines in pieces on the ground now. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend, but I always thought that I'd see you, baby, one more time again. Thought I'd see you one more time again. Thought I'd see you one more time again. Thought I'd see you, thought I'd see you one more time again.
Love that song. What a beautiful, beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. Well, now we come to the part of this gathering today where we are going to invite people to share their remembrances and their reflections about Leslie. And so love does not end. It transforms. Leslie's love continues in every heart she touched, in every memory we hold, and in every act of kindness inspired by her life. And although I didn't know her, Tracy has shared a number of things, and they were reflected in the images you saw on the screen, and many of you probably either experienced some of them with her or know of them as well, but I'm just going to touch on a few things. First of all, she had a really wonderful career. She loved what she did. She was very good at it, and she was rewarded by those who knew her, and she went to all kinds of different places with her work. She lived in Chicago a while, Denver, Massachusetts, all kinds of places. She was a leader, and she was very good at that as well. She was warm and friendly and had hugs for everyone. She also was a traveler. She loved to go different places, as some of you know, and exotic places, which Turkey's exotic to me. So she was recently in Turkey, I believe, and Italy and a whole lot of other places, and went with friends, and lots of those pictures showed the joy that she experienced being with friends in all kinds of different places and situations. She was very charismatic. She was giving. She did a lot for other people. She was a hiker, did yoga, a book club, all kinds of things. She had a big life. And so that's what we're celebrating today. And our first person who's going to talk about her is Tracy, her sister.
Thanks, Carol. I can do this.
Leslie was one of the greats. It's a testament to all of you being here online as well as in person. I loved her, and I have learned how much you all loved her, which makes it even larger. It helps my heart to heal, to know how she was loved by you and how you all loved her and how she influenced this life. She engaged with life. She was life. I mean, there was so much life flowing through this woman. I mean, she was just fun and great. And her life was full of excitement. I remember the night she was born. It was thunder and lightning. She was born at 12:01 a.m. She just made it to August 31st. And I woke up and I was afraid, and my grandmother was there, and my parents, mom and dad, were at Georgetown Hospital giving birth. My mom was giving birth to Leslie. And I was so excited when they brought her home. I do remember the vision of Mom getting out of the car and having Leslie in a little blanket. And I was like so excited because I got to help Mom care for her, feed her bottles, and do all that kind of thing. So we were both born in Washington, D.C. And we grew up in Northern Virginia near cousins and friends and neighbors who became lifelong friends. And obviously coworkers who became lifelong friends. Leslie and I were 3 years apart. She used to sing to me the song from White Christmas, Sisters, Sisters. And we would watch that movie every holiday. It was just annoying after a while, but it was really fun. We would watch Ed Sullivan and Lassie on Sunday nights, and Saturday morning cartoons were really fun. We fought like sisters, too. She claimed that a toy that was hers, it was mine long before she came on the scene. I'm just saying. And that so doesn't matter at all right now, right? And I asked her not to wear my clothes, but she did. And unfortunately now I get to wear her clothes. She was a great shopper. I miss her. She married twice. And Leslie had enough personality for the world just to sit aside and admire. I mean, she was just big energy, lovely energy. She always came to visit. She was always there, ready, willing, and able to take care of anybody, anything. She took care of Dylan when he was just an infant, when we needed some time away from family life. You know, she was just always ready, willing, and able. She was always there. She was a true sister in heart, body, and soul. And you never know when you might not get a chance to talk, hug, or share a meal again. We often take this for granted, but Leslie didn't. She was full of life. Always on the go, walking and talking fast, sizing up situations with admirable wit and candor. She was so funny. I used to ask her to do the Bill Murray impersonation of Caddyshack. And she would do it each and every time. On cue, and we would laugh every time. So she'd do that. And I can't do it, but she can do it. She's like, so I got that going for me, which is nice. And she'd do the mouth thing. She did it better than Bill Murray. Sorry, Bill. It never got old. And then one time we were in Santa Fe at a restaurant called El Farol. It's closed now, but it's a really old restaurant where older people who are single go there to gather, dine, and dance. And so Paula, Allen, Eric, and I were there, and all of a sudden Leslie's looking down at the table, and she looks up and she goes, "What is this, Viagra Tuesday?" Eric spit out his soda. It was so funny. Oh, my God. She was hilarious. We miss her. So she moved to Rio Rancho in March 2023. And she flew Jim and I up to Denver to help her pack and move down to Rio Rancho to be near Paula and Allen and us. And Eric, sorry. Even though she was an hour away, I didn't spend enough time with her. Precious time with her. Jim and I recently watched television of a show of, they inducted Warren Zevon into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And if you know this musician, back in 2002, he was diagnosed with metastasized lung cancer. And David Letterman interviewed him and said, what is your perspective on life and death now? And Warren Zevon said, "I never knew how important it was to cherish the sandwich." I mean, that just kind of sums it all up about living life to the fullest and loving the people that you love, and call them when you think of it. Don't say, oh, I'll get to that later, because I regret that now. So on the morning of her accident, because I was her emergency contact, I received a text from her Apple Watch, actually her iPhone, that said, hard fall, SOS. Leslie Whittet has contacted emergency services, and you're being contacted because you're her emergency contact. Are you okay? No answer back. And then it showed a map of where she was, so I knew she was out with her routine walk with her dog near her neighborhood. And then another map showed up, and it showed that she was at Rust Presbyterian Hospital. So I called Paula, and Paula, have you heard from Leslie today? And she said, no, I haven't. And I said, well, it shows that she's at the hospital. And she goes, okay, Alan and I will get dressed, and we'll go there right away. Because they're in Corrales. That's where we're all going to the reception, by the way. And so, and we're in Santa Fe, so we're an hour away. So they got there first, and the hospital said, no, we don't have any record of her. Oh, yes, you have to. This is where she is. You know, showed them the map, and they go, oh, that's our helipad. And just then, Paula sees and Alan see this helicopter going over I-25, transporting Leslie to University of New Mexico Trauma Center. We visited her, and we hoped every day. We really thought she was going to wake up. I have to tell the story about Jeremy. He was a really hot nurse that was taking care of her. And Paula was like, Leslie, you got to wake up. You got to see Jeremy. But, you know, her injuries were too severe, and I really think that she was, again, giving and thinking of her life. Like, she didn't want her life to suck, and it was going to suck for a long time. You know, Jeremy, he told us that she would be recovering from this for the rest of her life. You know, and we would have done anything to care for her and be there with her. But she wouldn't want to live that way, never returning to her walks with Mel, who is healing and adopted by Paula and Allen, by the way. So Leslie entered this life with gusto, you know, the thunder and lightning and all of that. But she left peacefully with Cousin Joan, Jim, and I right by her side. We played her favorite music. It was just sacred to be with her as she was breathing rhythmically. I mean, I didn't realize how soothing how her breath was so soothing. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And it was just like, wow, it was like we were guardians on her journey to her next adventure. It was sacred. And if I could leave you with a message of love, joy, laughter, hope, it would be live life like Leslie. Always curious, adventurous, and loved. So very loved. Thank you.
Next, we're going to hear from Doug Price.
You did it. Leslie Ann Whittet, born on August 31st, 1960 in Washington, D.C., passed away on November 30th, 2025, and is survived by her sister Tracy Lee Whittet, husband James Hildebrand of Santa Fe, New Mexico, her nephew Dylan James Burrell of Littleton, Colorado, cousins Joan Whitehouse Lovett, Doug and Kathy Price, Martha and Ted Scholes, Todd and Mary Price, Scott Whittet and Andrea Lytle, Marjorie Reardon, and numerous cherished friends, including Paula Saranac, Alan Blowers, the Susans, and Stephanie. And she was preceded in death by her parents, Aunt Ruth and Uncle David Whittet. Leslie had immense curiosity and a spirit made for adventure. A devoted traveler for both work and for pleasure, she explored the world with an open mind and heart, always interested in learning more about local culture, art, and cuisine. and her beloved dog Mel Torme was never far behind. On a peaceful daily morning, during her daily stroll with Mel, both were tragically struck by a distracted truck driver who failed to stop at a neighborhood intersection. And despite 9 days of extraordinary care from the trauma and nursing teams at the University of New Mexico Hospital, her injuries were simply too severe for recovery. But as you've heard, Mel is recovering from his injuries. Leslie was immensely proud of her career as an association leader, where she strengthened professional communities in mergers and acquisitions and risk management. She was a champion for emerging professionals and a generous mentor whose influences stretch from Boston to Chicago to Denver and recently here in New Mexico. We miss her wit, her warmth, her passion, and her unmistakable laugh. Leslie would want us to celebrate her life, not mourn her passing. So that was Leslie's beautiful obituary written by Tracy. And it begins with being born on August 31st, 1960. And then there's a dash. And then November 30th, 2025. See, when you see a dash somewhere like on a headstone or a slide like that, it's separating two dates. But the dash represents really how people lived their lives. And we're here to celebrate how Leslie lived her dash. And all of us here and watching on the live stream knew and loved watching Leslie run her dash of life. And how blessed are we to have been a part of watching her run and running with her. You know, Tracy asked me on Christmas Day, what gift did you receive from Leslie? And it's a great question that, you know, as we celebrate her life today, all of us can smile and think about how Leslie was a gift to every single one of us in so many ways. For me, her top gift was the gift of family. As a loving cousin for 65 years. For the past several years, Leslie was always a big part of our cousins' weekends and cousin Christmases. Her laugh was contagious, and the stories of her childhood were epic, as you saw. Her laugh just was something I think all of us will remember. She would remind us of stories about her mom, her dad, and Ruth's sisters, Jane and Alice. And you can't forget all those crazy hairstyles of hers. You know, and Leslie and I also shared the gift of travel. We were both nonprofit leaders and mentors. We would share lots of travel stories, and both of us loved the Broadmoor Hotel in Colorado Springs. Leslie and I also shared the gift of music. Ah, how she loved music. I hope you'll know today that a lot of love went into the music chosen for today's celebration of life. Do you know the song or the lyrics of the song Turn, Turn, Turn by the Byrds? It goes back to 1965. And it's based on a Bible scripture from the book of Ecclesiastes. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. For everything there is a season, a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. So as we think about our own dash of life that we are running through these days, let's bow our heads and give thanks to Leslie for passing her baton to all of us as she dashed across the finish line of life. As you've heard, life is short, and we do not have much time to gladden the hearts of those who make the journey with us. So be swift to love and make haste to be kind. And may the blessing of God who made us, who loves us, and who travels with us be with you now and forever.
Thank you, Doug. That was beautiful. And now we get to hear from Martha Schultz. There's Martha.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Martha Scholes, and I am one of the cousins. So Leslie was more than a cousin. She was my very first friend. We were born just 30 days apart, so we have lived life from the very beginning. So recently, as we gathered at Cousins Christmas, we were reminiscing about Leslie, and I managed to shock the family by telling a story about Leslie they had never heard. And so Tracy asked me to share it with you all today. So before I do, I would like to see a show of hands of any of you that have ever shared a glass of wine or a cocktail with Leslie. There we go. So looking, yes, yeah, both hands, yeah. So looking at that response, I think you will appreciate exactly why this story is classic Leslie and where her love of the spirits began. So we were 12 years old. So we, our mothers were going out shopping, and we did not want to tag along. So we were told not to leave the house because a business associate of my dad's was coming to pick up an envelope. So we had instructions. You are to offer him a beer and get the envelope. They weren't gone 5 minutes. And we were gone on some preteen adventure. So it was not long into our adventure that we looked down the street and saw the car pulling out of the driveway. Well, complete panic set in, and we started running and screaming for this man to stop and to come back. Well, to no avail. So we knew we were in deep trouble. So our two great minds immediately started putting together the cover story. So we knew that our moms would know that we had left the house because my mom always counted the beers in the refrigerator. So we just knew. So we took out a beer and we put it on the counter. So our first thought was just to go ahead and dump it down the drain. But then our good family values told us that we were never to waste a perfectly good beer. So we just knew we had to drink it. So we pulled out 2 juice glasses so that we could split it evenly. And then Leslie had the great idea that we should get straws so that it wouldn't taste so bad and we could drink it really fast. So when our mothers came home, they found an empty beer can, 2 juice glasses, 2 straws, and 2 very buzzed 12-year-olds in a complete puddle of giggles. So all we had to do was look at each other and we would completely lose it. So our punishment was to put on our matching pajamas at 3 p.m, and we were sequestered to the twin beds in my bedroom to sleep it off. And we giggled for hours. Leslie and I would always celebrate this event whenever we'd get together with just a quick toast and a picture. And we just knew. That's probably why the family never heard, because Leslie and I would just be like, we know. So for all of you, that's where it started. So Leslie's life was a gift filled with laughter, mischief, and an enduring spirit that will never fade. As we remember her today, let's honor her by embracing the joy she found in every moment and share that infectious laugh with others. So let's celebrate Leslie as she is on her greatest adventure.
Thank you so much, Martha. That was great. I'm really getting to know her so well through all of you. This is fun. This is more fun than I thought it was going to be. And now we'd like to hear from Stephanie.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you for teaming me up, Martha. As one of the friends, I might have all the secrets. We'll see. It's a beautiful day. I'm going to start with a quote that I read. Good people are hard to find. So when you find them, you should keep them. I read that quote the day after Leslie's accident. And wow, did it hit hard. Leslie was just a series of contradictions in all the best ways as we know her. She was fierce in her beliefs, but still curious and open. She was wickedly smart and genuinely funny, yet deeply humble. She was intolerant of ignorance, right? I think we all know that. But one of the strongest allies for justice that I've ever known. And above all, she was resilient. How lucky to count her among our friends and family. So Leslie and I became a ride or die duo in 2003. And honestly, this was all mostly her fault, right? Our stories are tying together, Martha. We were business competitors of sorts. She was in Boston, I was in Philadelphia, and you won't be surprised to learn that she had really created the leading conference in our industry and was very, touted for doing that. I had kind of taken that idea and evolved it to its next generation. So you can see how this could have easily gone wrong, and we could have never been friends. Instead, Leslie called me, she complimented my work, and she said, "I'll show you mine if you show me yours." That one sentence kind of tells you everything you need to know about Leslie. So we huddled for a full day. We compared notes. We found deep respect for one another. And just like that, we became collaborators, fans, and the fastest of friends. So much so that our official motto became, "Great friendships are built on a solid foundation of sarcasm, alcohol," thank you, Martha, inappropriateness, and shenanigans. And wow, were we both overqualified for this job. In offices, airplanes, and countless countries all over the world, we shared adventures and misadventures. We toasted with the finest cocktails, logged thousands of miles, and made unforgettable memories. We also supported each other through difficult relationships, work challenges, and those hard moments when confidence wavered. So whenever one of us was facing adversity, Leslie would always say, "It's time to put on your big girl pants," right? And she didn't do it to dismiss the feelings that you were having, but to say, yes, this is hard and you can do it. Now, there are some stories I really can't share in mixed company. If you want to hear about wedding crashing in Columbus or certain escapades in the Grand Bazaar in Turkey, you're going to have to catch me later, maybe over a cocktail. We shared a deep love of adventure together, and we had an impressive tolerance for chaos. In fact, I'm not sure if we thrived on travel fiascos or if we actively attracted them. So either way, I was lucky enough to spend Leslie's last 2 birthdays with her, first in Italy and then in Turkey. 2 summers ago, Leslie bravely traveled to Italy with me and 2 of my daughters. They might be listening today. We made the questionable decision to rent a car and drive across all of southern Italy together. And if you've ever driven in Italy, you know that this was ambitious, let's say. So fresh off an overnight flight, we arrive at the complete chaos that is Italian anything, especially car rental. We had divided responsibilities. Leslie had the car rental and the international driver's license covered. So as she does, she marched confidently over to the counter. She returned 20 minutes later, but without any keys. So it turns out we had the wrong international driver's license. So she looked at me and she burst out laughing. She said, "Oops." So how do we do southern Italy without a car? So we immediately knew that we were going to be talking our way into this one. So armed with my questionable Italian, a lot of hand gestures, and a few $100s later, we were kind of well on our way. 10 amazing days followed. We had pasta making with a local family, a stunning 5-star cave hotel in Matera, which she enjoyed very much, ancient history and incredible museums in Lecce, boutique old city shopping, of course, no surprise, and of course, not surprisingly, an impressive quantity of Hugo spritzes. So Leslie was also the only other person I ever met who could tolerate kind of what I call a just-in-time airport arrival. So possibly we were a bad pairing, okay? We cut it close more than once, including one international flight when traffic doubled our already very slim travel time. So we had to convince our foreign taxi driver in our very limited French that he should reverse on the shoulder and back up the entrance ramp so that he could let us out of the car and we could run on foot, luggage in hand, to the airport. Miraculously, we arrived at the gate with just 2 minutes to spare. I looked over, I said, "Time for a cocktail?" Even for Leslie, that was a little too much. So many wonderful memories together, truly. And if Leslie were here right now, she'd be saying, "Wrap it up, girl, you're rambling." But beneath all the laughter, the chaos, the objectively terrible travel decisions that we made, there was something much deeper happening. I recently read a quote from C.S. Lewis after the death of his best friend, which I shared with the Susans. He wrote that it wasn't just the loss of his friend that shattered him. It was the loss of the part of himself that only that friend could bring out. So Leslie brought out a version of me that no one else could. She pushed me to be braver, bolder, and occasionally more inappropriate. She challenged my thinking, expanded my perspective, and reminded me exactly who I was on those occasions when I may have lost sight of my own strength. We did that for one another. I'm going to make it through this. This past year, we celebrated her birthday in Turkey on what became the most extraordinary trip of a lifetime. It was supposed to be just the 2 of us, but oops, I accidentally invited 2 other gals to join us. At first, Leslie was not happy about this at all. She came around. And yet, 4 women who had never traveled together, barely knew one another, had the most magical, hilarious experience. We bared our souls together on a rooftop in Istanbul. We floated in hot air balloons at the sunrise in Cappadocia. We indulged in kind of the luxury of these historic Turkish baths. We explored ancient cities. We wandered the bazaars fully immersed. Heck, we even walked in a fashion show down the runway in Turkey, if you can believe that. I mean, we really left nothing undone. Perhaps the universe knew that this was her last great adventure. Rest well, my friend. We had one hell of a run.
Wow, that was great. So now we are offering the floor to anyone else who would like to share their experiences. Please feel free to come up if you'd like to share memories, stories, any reflections. We're going to ask that you limit your time to about 3 minutes. So if anyone feels to come on up.
Oh, hello. My name is Susan Szymanski, and I am one of the Susans. My friend Susan Weller doesn't like when Leslie would call us the tall Susan. So I met Leslie when she first moved to Chicago, and I had 4 tickets to the Cubs game. And Ellen Moore and her husband Greg said, "Hey, my new client, Leslie Whittet, just moved into town. I think you'd be great friends." So we went to the Cubs game, and we became fabulous friends. We liked fashion, we liked food, we liked cooking. I just found out something which I never knew before, which is I was born at 1201 on August 12th, 1960. The other Susan used to get really angry that I remembered Leslie's birthday, and I didn't remember hers. And she said, "Why do you remember her birthday?" I said, 0831 is the code on the safe when we travel. And I said, if you want me to remember your birthday, make 1016 the code. So Leslie, when Leslie moved to Chicago, she spent many a Christmas at my house before the cousin's Christmas. My family is all about cooking. I mean, we are cooking, we're eating. She also came to our home in Avalon many times. I took her to see Ruth's grave when she was there. But Leslie would always say, you know, you guys cook. I don't really cook that well. But one Thanksgiving, she decided to make herself a feast. And I was coming back from New York on Saturday. We were going to have dinner Saturday night. And she said, "I am making Thomas Keller's green bean casserole." I said, okay, good luck with that. So she spent 4 hours making this green bean casserole. And as we all do when you have Thanksgiving, you have dinner and then you fall asleep watching TV. Well, she fell asleep and she left the green bean casserole on the counter. That's fine. I'll put it in the refrigerator. I fly home Saturday morning, I call her. I'm like, "How are you?" She's like, "I food poisoned myself. I ate that green bean casserole and it was bad the next day." And I was like, okay, maybe stop cooking. So I knew both of her dogs, and I'm actually responsible for Mel. Some of you may not know that. I was with Leslie when we helped Belle go to the Rainbow Bridge. I didn't realize that we laughed down 3 flights of stairs as we carried this 90-pound lovable dog, and she was never the same. She needed a dog. So I'm in Springfield, Missouri, and I'm having dinner with a client, and the client comes and says, "I can't believe it. Someone returned Tizzy's brother back to the breeder." I'm like, "What kind of dog is it?" So it's an Aussie Doodle. I'm like, "What's his name?" "His name is Melbourne." I'm like, "I have the girl." And next thing you know, she's flying to Connecticut, and then she's driving back, and she has beloved Mel. So one of the things that Leslie taught me a lot. I'm not really a smiler. I've never really been like a great smiler, but she helped me to smile, and I always remember her smile. So I want you to do something with me to think about her smile. So you didn't know there was audience participation. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to call to mind the most joyful time that you had with Leslie. And I know as part of that is her smile. And now I want you to tilt your head up and imagine you're looking at a night sky. It won't take you long to see it. It'll be that bright star, which is Leslie's smile, looking down on us. So whether it's tonight, whether it's tomorrow, next year, next month, remember that, and remember the joy that she brought to all of our hearts. I miss my friend Leslie, and I hope she rests in peace. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Greg. Leslie and I met first as association colleagues. To say there was a rivalry wouldn't be inappropriate. Because she was smart and talented, and I knew she was somebody I was probably going to compete for a job for one day. Well, it turned out that one day wasn't a competition. It was we had lunch, and she said, "So I understand Gary, who has become our boss, has offered you a job. You better take it." What would become then a professional relationship turned into a friendship that is one of the most unique friendships I've ever had in my life. You see, Leslie and I were each other's dark time person. When I was struggling with a decision, really pissed off at Gary, I could go to Leslie, and the simplest way I can describe it is she would do to me what Cher did to lots of other people. Snap out of it. She could be snarky and kind. We also shared a love of dogs. And I remember, Susan, when she found Mel, and she called me, she says, "I've got a dog." And I said, "You did?" She goes, "Yeah, but it's named Mel. And I don't know if I can keep the name." So we were talking about names, and I go, "Well, Mel, like Mel Torme." And she goes, "Oh, I love that, like Mel Torme. I love it." She goes, "Everyone needs a gay friend like you to come up with obscure references." So I had a home in Michigan, and Leslie would often come out and stay in Michigan. And I finally said, "Are you going to finally come over to dinner? Like, are you going to come to my house?" And so I invited Dale and Lark, who I think you know, and some mutual friends. Dale and I worked with Leslie at ACG. And I said, "Bring Mel." She goes, "Oh, I don't think so." I said, "No, bring Mel. It'll be fine." Okay. So we're having a lovely dinner. And suddenly we all realized we haven't seen Mel for a while. It was very quiet. There's no clicking. Very quiet. So Leslie, I'll never forget this. She's got the glass of wine, and she goes, "Hey, Mel!" And Mel comes around the corner from the kitchen with an incredibly white face, walking about as nonchalantly and cool as he possibly can. And Leslie's like, "What did you do?" And I get up and I go around the corner, and our dessert, which was a lovely carrot cake, has pieces out of it where Mel could reach the cake. And then he had pushed the cake back, and so he had managed to lick off the frosting that he could still reach. And she was mortified. She goes, "I'm so sorry." And I go, "It's my fault. It's a dog. I'm a dog person." So there's a couple of memories. Every time Leslie got a new job, she got a carrot cake. And every time I got a new job, I got a carrot cake. But more importantly, every Christmas, Mel Torme is on Sirius XM a lot. So every time he came on the radio, I called her. To the point where in November and December, she stopped answering the phone. This year, there were calls, but there's a lot of joy because no one could be as loving and snarky at the exact same time than my amazing friend and colleague, Leslie.
that was pretty unfair of you to ask us to think of one thing. Because it was tough. Several of you got up and talked about either her alcoholic adolescence, okay, or her extreme success in her professional career. But I'm going to fill up a gap. It starts about 1984, 85. Paul and I went to college together. We were roommates. Oh, excuse me. We lived next door to each other. Neighbors in college. So about 1984, 85, Paula's working at the Banana Republic in Washington, D.C. And so I go visit Paula. And my relationship with Leslie was extremely transactional at the time. It was all those wonderful discounts I got on that Banana Republic stuff. Either the wonderful cargo khaki slacks or the sweaters or this safari jacket that I think is probably still in the closet. But anyways, that's how the relationship started. And then we started hanging out. I remember that boat ride on Dave Glick's boat ride down the Potomac. He had this cigarette boat thingamajiggy doing 60, 70 miles an hour on this boat. Leslie's up front with her friend David. I'll just leave it at that. And Paula and I in the back, jumping and screaming in the back. That's some of the smile memories that we had. January 17th, 1996, happened to be the date that my daughter was born. But for about a year after that date, Leslie kept saying, I have something for you. I have something for you. Didn't know what it was. And finally she came to Southern California where Dawn and I live. And she brought this thing, this package, and said, this is for Jordan. And what she did was she had newspapers and clippings and items from December 17th, 1996 that she wanted to give us for our daughter. I'll never forget that. And then the travel part. I never traveled in anywhere with Leslie, but she sure the hell was a wonderful travel guide for me because wherever I was going, she went already. I remember going to Bath in the UK. You got to go to this place and you got to hang out here. So Dawn and I, my quest in life was to go see those damn rocks. So as we go up the Stonehenge, if we see the rocks, get to Bath. I'm going everywhere she's saying. I'm texting her, sending pictures. Hey, we're here, we're here, we're here. She was wonderful that way. No matter where I was going, she went. And some places where I was going, she was going, and give her some insight there. But just this weekend, if you will, you've said it in many ways, of the people that she's touched, left or leave loving her, but then also the people that she's put in front of us, in front of me, meeting Stephanie in Long Beach in some seafood restaurant, unfortunately, if you will, meeting folks after the accident, but yet wonderful people. I'm sure there's some folks wherever the stream is coming from that are out there that we've met in passing. Just wonderful. So, I thank Paula for introducing me to Leslie. I thank Leslie for introducing me to many of you. I thank Leslie for all the smiles. I thank Leslie for pulling me aside when she met Dawn for the first time and said, how the hell did you meet her? I thank Leslie for all that. I'll miss her. I'm still stunned from that text. But then grateful as well. So that's a little bit of my memory, so thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, come on up.
Good afternoon, everyone. What a beautiful day. What a beautiful crowd this is. What a beautiful gathering. It's so great fun to see everyone together, all of Leslie's friends and family and cousins and colleagues. I'm one of the former colleagues. I'm Gary LeBranch with RIMS, the Risk and Insurance Management Society, and Leslie has been working with me for the last 3.5 years at RIMS, and before that for 9 years at the Association for Corporate Growth. So I got to work with her about 14 years altogether as her CEO, and I'm here today with half a dozen or so of my colleagues to remember her as our co-worker, as our worker. And all of you have had great memories of Leslie's personal life growing up, from birth even, which we can't beat, but we can share the great stories of her as a colleague. Me in particular, I will say that the thing that I valued the most was her wisdom, her ability to take me aside and say, hey boss, it's not such a good idea. Or, hey boss, did you notice this thing over here? Have you thought about that? Would you give some thought to this? And I know from stories from my colleagues about the strength that she's lent them, the bouncing of ideas, of sharing thoughts with them, of helping them when things got difficult for them as leaders. And I also want you to know that Leslie was a true believer in the mission of associations, of bringing people together in community. She was a fierce defender and fierce advocate for chapters, for local organizations of members to get together and bring people together to learn, to network, to share, to grow. And she did everything in her power over 2 different organizations over almost 30 years of her life to make that happen. And you can see that in all the other aspects of her life, bringing people together. Bringing people together to share life, to share laughter, to share adventures, to share time, and to share love. And it just strikes me that the person that's missing the most, the person that would love being here the most, is Leslie. Right? She's the one that would love this the most. So let us then keep her in our heart. Let us then keep her in our laughter and in our love this afternoon and going forth, because she will be there in the wisdom. She will be there in the adventures. She will be there in our life if we just remember. Just remember. Leslie Whittet. Thank you.
That was great. All of it. Thank you, everyone. The family thanks you. We're glad everyone is here. I'm going to do one more short reading, and then I just want to announce that there is a reception. It's on the back of your program, celebrating from noon to 2 at Paula and Allen's residence. And so all of you who are able to, please join the family there. I have one more reading that Tracy sent me last night. She doesn't know which one. It's kind of interesting. It's called Not My Leg. My heart is broken, not my leg. No one notices or thinks to offer their seat on a crowded bus. My heart is broken, not my leg. Strangers rarely ask, how did it happen? They glance in my direction, nodding in silent agreement. That must have hurt. My heart is broken, not my leg. Handicap parking is off limits. I can't risk a $250 fine. The kid bagging groceries doesn't ask if I need help getting to my car. My heart is broken, not my leg. Be glad you have 2 legs would be rude, impolite. Suggesting that God doesn't give us any more than we can handle is not helpful or true. My heart is broken, not my leg. No doctor's orders, no crutches, no plaster cast. where if I could, I'd write, "Not my heart is broken, not my leg." So thank you all for being here today. Is there anything else you would like to add? Oh, okay. I have one up here if anyone needs one to find your way, but you can probably follow others and get there as well. Thank you all for coming today. Many blessings.
Now I had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you. 'Cause I had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you. I've been waiting for so long now. I found someone to stand by me. We saw the writing on the wall as we felt this magical fantasy. Now with passion in our eyes, there's no way we could disguise it secretly. So we take each other's hand, 'cause we seem to understand the urgency. Just remember, you're the one that I can't give up. So I'll tell you someday, this could be love, because I had the time of my life. Never felt this way before. Yes, I swear it's so true, and I owe it all to you. Hey, baby, with my body and soul, I want you more than you'll ever know. So we'll just let it go. Don't be afraid to lose control. No. Yes, I know it's on your mind. You say, stay with me tonight. And remember, you're the one thing I can't get enough of. So I'll tell you something. This could be love, because I had the time of my life. Never felt this way before. I swear it's so true, and I owe it all to you. 'Cause I had the time of my life, and I'm sure to every open door. I had the truth, and I owe it all to you. Had the time of my life. No, I never felt this way before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I owe it all to you. I had time of my life. No, I never felt this way before. Yes, I swear it's a truth, and I hope